I've got no other interest in any other topic that we've had in earlier days or anything like that. I've got just that one issue, um, something that won't generate debate or anything like that. But I have no hidden agenda in what I have to say. But at some points, it may sound like, oh, he's making points about a previous conversation. No, I'm not. That's not, well, it's not my intention anyway. But it's great to see everybody funny and happy and this kind of thing. Um, it's hard to move from that to get to be serious. So I think we ought to take the happy bit and put it in the end so that the speaker can be seen. In 1971, I think, I came across uh, I don't know how I got it. I don't know how I came in touch with it, but I got um, a recording that was done by, I'm trying to read my notes here, okay. Gavin Bryars in 1941. Gavin Bryars, a very accomplished musician guy who did all kinds of things with the music. But the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation, had been doing a project that they would go around in London and other places like that, and they would meet up with older people in particular, or anybody, but mainly it was older people. And they would ask them, what did they remember about life and how was it and what they went through and all of that kind of thing. And they got all kinds of responses. I mean, a host of them. And then they came across on a doorway into a shop or something like that. And there was an older gentleman lying in the open door with paper over him and some bits and pieces of trash and that kind of thing. And he was singing a piece from some piece of music and song. Jesus' blood never failed me yet, never failed me yet. Jesus' blood never failed me yet. This one thing I know, for he loved me so. Jesus' blood never failed me yet. And that's what he sang over and over. Nobody knows nobody knew the older gentleman. Nobody knows why he was homeless and that kind of thing. But they had recorded all that and didn't have any use for the bulk of what they were doing. And so they got in touch with Gavin Bryars, the friends, they were friends with him. And they said to Gavin, we've got a lot of things copied here and recorded, and we don't have any use for them. Would you be interested? He said, well, send them along. And they sent him along a lot of that. And he heard this old gentleman. He heard this old gentleman was profoundly moved by it. Gavin wasn't able to say that he shared the older gentleman's faith. But he was very kind. I wish I knew how to get in touch with him. And maybe I can anyway, but I want to write him. I want to write him and about it. But what he did was he recorded the older gentleman singing. And then he added to it with his expert work and his rich understanding of the whole thing, all kinds of, I don't know the words that they use, but he added all of that to the man's singing. And I don't remember how I did it, but I must have bought it and I got the hold of it. And Ethel and I, we played it every day, non-stop. Just turned it on and let it go. Jesus' blood never failed me yet. Never failed me yet. Jesus' blood never failed me yet. This one thing I know, for he loved me so. Jesus' blood never failed me yet. Well, he got all of that together. And he later got in touch with a singer whose name I don't remember, but it was a deep-throated guy. He was one of those, living his life and all of that. Apparently a very fine man, but a deep-throated singer. And all of that he recorded. It's a long thing, and he let the man keep singing. The man, by this time, had died, and he did not know what Gavin had done to his singing or anything like that. But he was conducting a get together with the guys that were his friends, and they were a rowdy group, a happy group, all noise and all laughter and this, that, and the other. And here they are all together. And then he went down, Bryars went down the stairs or something to get something taken care of. And he came back up. And the silence that met him was the first thing that struck him. The silence that met him, he couldn't understand it. All the guys were silent. And it was then it registered the music was still playing. They had forgotten to turn it off. And they had heard the old man singing that over and over and over again with all that lovely music put on it and that kind of thing. And they all were moved by the whole thing. Yeah. I preached a sermon or two on it years ago and loved the sound of it, and I think I did, for a change, I think I did quite well with it, but it wasn't how well I handled the thing that I'm interested in, good or bad or indifferent, but it was the old gentleman. I don't know, and nobody else knew him either, but I don't know, homeless. What was another victim of the damnable booze industry? I'm not talking about people who drink and not. I'm talking about the industry, and I'd bury in a minute if I could. But anyway, what was that? How do you got trapped in it, and things happened at home, and the loved ones try to take care of it all and couldn't handle it and the like, and then he went off. But whatever it was, he ended lying in the cold, wrapped up in paper and some scraps of cloth, singing. Jesus' blood never failed me yet. He did what the Bible often does. He took the word blood of Jesus, standing, of course, for his death, but not just his death, bigger than that. The faithfulness of God, the love of God expressed in Jesus Christ, and how he entered into the lives and entered into his life. And here he is. Oops, sorry. Here he is, alone, singing in praise of Jesus Christ, freezing cold, living out away from home, whatever the results are, whatever the causes and all of the rest of it. And this is a human who'd obviously been through hard times. A human, an older gentleman. If you got, and I wish you would at least think, maybe, well, you maybe think about getting a hold of it and playing it around the home and just playing it and you know, letting him over and over again, and then the nice music filling in as it goes along, and hear this one hurting, lonely human affirming his faith in Jesus Christ. These words now are mine, but his truth. So he looks out at you and me as we go by him and see him in that state. And he says to us, so you think I'm a loser? Not bad, not bad, not bad, not bad. Just, you think, look, oh, poor thing, beaten up, this, that, and the other, he says to us. He said, you're mistaken. You're mistaken. For though I look like I'm beating everything, that's not true. Because one thing I know, for he loves me so. Jesus' blood never, ever, not ever failed me. There's something about humans. They're capable, and you know this without our discussing it at all. You know how brutal we can be, how brutal we've been for millennia, and we'll continue to do it, robbing and raping and plundering and all of that. You know how that is. But it's not the whole story about being a human, because there are humans, and I'm looking at some. I don't know everybody here, of course, but I know enough that people here have been through the ringer, and maybe even yet going through the ringer. It's not that they're poor, maybe. It's not that they're sick and unhealthy and all those other things. Maybe it's not that either. Maybe it's inner pain and the sense of, I am useless. I am this or that or the other thing. And the demonic in all of what fills the air makes them think useless me. They weep when there's nobody around. That thing went, am I still with you? Something.
Oh, you're fine. Yeah.
I'm okay. Here, all over the place, we know people, maybe are people, who have looked back in their life and thought, you're not worth that. I'm wanting to say that what you are as a human is not about, and I'm speaking to me too, of course, you understand, but it's not about how successful you've been. But it's not either what a failure you might have been or think you are. That's not what determines you as a human. When God, out there in what C.S. Lewis would call the land of the Trinity, there is one God who is love. He just doesn't love. He is love. He doesn't just act lovingly and speak lovingly and do lovely things. He is the existence of. He is the embodiment. Without his existence and without him being the God self, there is nothing, but there is no love. Yes. And out of love, he said to himself, I want to share all that is rich and wondrous in me. No bragging, nothing like that. Just a sense he loves the greatest he knows. And he is the greatest he knows. He is not an arrogant, I am God and you better. There's nothing like that about him. He's a lover. And he's a lover because that's what he is. And what did he do? He said, I want to share who I am with others. It's too rich, too wondrous to keep to myself. And as the gentleman said, the reason, the simplest answer, one more time, please. The simplest answer to why we exist is that God did not want to be God without us. But he didn't want us as people who bow down and scrape to him all the time and tell him how wonderful he was and all of that. That's not it at all. Has he power? Limitless. But it wasn't power that moved him to create. Could he be anywhere he wanted, anytime he wanted one? Yeah. He was omnipresent. He is omnipresent. Is he wise? He is all wise. Does he know all the answers? He knows everything. He's everything there is. There is no limit to his power and his muscle. But it wasn't any of that that led him to create humans. Why? Why did he create humans? We're going back to the phrase that he didn't want to be God without us, but why didn't he create angels and make them to be the heirs of all that he purposed. The book of Hebrews, chapter 2, you'll read that when you're at home, and you'll enjoy the reading, of course you will. The Hebrew writer says, get this, it wasn't to the angels he gave and promised more. It wasn't to angels that he gave authority over everything. Yeah. It was the humans, the first beings he created were humans. Humans like you and me. They're only one kind, and he made them. And he's as surely your creator and father as he was when he created the first Adam and the woman who became his wife then. God made you a human. Yeah. And he also made a home for humans, this entire creation. And he made angels to be ministers to the elect, the chosen of God. Are they not all ministering servants to those who have been called into Jesus Christ? Is that not remarkable? Archangels with power, other spiritual beings whose names I forgot right at the minute, but you know them, 4 big names. And one of them, the leading light, is the defender of God's glory, and the one who deals with the enemies who make God and put him down and insult him and all of that. But he wasn't chosen. Michael the archangel wasn't chosen. And then get some names that you know of the angels, not a one of them chosen to be given authority over the entire earth and all of us in it. He gave it to humans. Why? He gave it to humans. The first pair screwed it up. Yeah. She sinned against God, but her sin against God is not in the career of Adam's. As the story, as the truth, the creative truth is told in Genesis in story fashion. Here comes this slime one and talks and seduces her, talks her into it. She's carried away with the talk. She does not say, God, hang you. I want no part of you. Paul makes it clear twice in the New Testament, and she herself confessed it when God said, what have you done? And she immediately turns, picture her pointing at that lying rascal. She said, that being. She didn't use talk me into it. He seduced me. I got caught up in it. She confesses her sin. But when it got to Adam, he blames God for it. He said, the woman you gave me, she got me into it. And when the New Testament deals with the wreck that the human family now experiences, it's always him. By one man, sin entered the world, and death by sin. And all died because all got his heritage. And we all went down under. We said something, and I won't develop it again, about sin not always being the same thing, though it's always sin. She confesses. And Paul makes use of her being talked into it, being seduced into it. And he uses it in Corinth, and he uses it in 1 Timothy, in the other city. I can't remember the name. It's not me. You know the one we're talking about. He says to the women in that church of God, look, she was deceived. And when you do not hear the love of God, when you do not hear his word, you take that as an offense. Ah, yes, that's right. That's how you treat women. She's a dumbbell. He doesn't say she's a dumbbell. And when he says she's deceived, he is not hurting her. He's saying she's not the same as he. She was caught into it. And that's what Paul said about himself. I got caught into it. I was shaped and all that. I didn't get it. I didn't know what I was doing. And then you remember the people again who he says they're yelling and screaming at him and all of that. And he said, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. There is ignorance. And then Peter will say the same thing in Acts chapter 2 to the people he spoke to. But look, ignorance is not just mental in the sense of I didn't know, in the sense that I wasn't aware. It's being carried away, and people are carried away, and she was carried away. But as soon as she got a moment's thought, she turned and became his enemy, and God believed her. For immediately then afterward, he says to the snake, you crawling beast, you picked on the wrong person here. For I'm going to make the woman your enemy. I'm going to make her children the enemy of your children. And I'm going to make her, not the man. The man's not mentioned. Well, God knew that she can't have children without a man, but she doesn't want it. He doesn't want him in it. He wants her in it. And he says, I'm going to make her your enemy. I'm going to make her children your children's enemy. And I'm going to make her the mother of a special child, a unique child. And he will kill you. He will end you. He makes her to be the acting hero and all of that. So, and then God begins a new creation. And why doesn't he choose an archangel? Didn't he hear? Well, of course he did. But didn't he hear in the Old Testament, and didn't he have it written in the Old Testament? The wickedness of man, they'll always be like that. Man will always be like that. That'll be a characteristic of them. And he said, one particular case before he sends the flood, he said their thoughts were only evil continually and all of that. He said, I'll never do this again. I'll never do this again. I'll never destroy the world in this respect again in dealing with the evil one. He said, so he's already said, a new child I'm going to produce in her. But why did he produce a human? And he did. And he produced a human, creating another, what's the first guy's name? What's the first man's name?
Adam.
Adam, thank you. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm not able to do that. The first Adam he replaces with the last Adam, 1 Corinthians 15. The first Adam is born man, and that's the end of the story there. The last Adam, he is a human, of course, immortal, dies, raised again, and now he becomes a life-giving spirit. But he chooses a human who remains a human. What is it about humans? I'm not talking about tri-personal anything. I'm talking about humans. What is it about humans? What is it about you who continue in your faith? And some of you have been through tough times, and maybe it's happening right this minute. And you know people who do that. And while they don't sing Jesus' blood never failed me yet, they live it. He said humans are capable of more than they imagine. But even when they are wrestling and they're being beat up and all of that, and they're beating themselves up and all of that and dying, it's not the importance of who they are, the glory of who they are, men and women. It is not about their success or failure. First and foremost, they're my children. I fathered them. And in their millions, do you know what they do? They take beating after beating after beating. 1 Corinthians 11, which I won't trouble around and read, but you know what the story is. And he starts listing the heroic behavior of so many of them. And he talks about men and women who refused to have their life, physical life, rather than deny the faith. They were put out in the wilderness. They were frozen. They were beat up. They were cut into pieces and then cut up into little pieces, all in 1 Corinthians 11. They watched their babies raped and burned and all the rest of it. And what? They did not turn from God. These were humans. Yeah, well, sometimes heroes can intimidate you. Sometimes hearing about heroes, knowing heroes and that, if you tend to be very critical, self-wise, and you meet up with glorious people, and you begin to feel worse and worse about yourself. I spent my whole life, look at him, look at her, look at them, look what they've done. Look how they love God and all of that. Look at the spirit and attitude and disposition that is always in them. Heroism can depress you as well as inspire you. But if you're weak and hurt and can't take who you think you are, it becomes even more of a hurt and a harm. But God doesn't judge you on the level of your heroism, the level of your success, the level of your loss and the like. He wants to know, you staying with me, come what may? Are you staying with me? No temptation will come your way but what everybody gets one way or another. And he said 1 Corinthians 11, with all of that line there, you think, good, great. What a world they were living in. That's right. But the big thing about them, and this is what Hebrews is about, by faith, everything that was done in that chapter is done by faith. That's what it says. How is it done? They remain believers with God. And God says, all of what happens to you, all of the temptation that comes your way, everybody's had it. Everybody's had it. But let me tell you, here he is telling you, telling me, telling us, telling everyone who's been beaten and battered and all the rest of it, but will not quit. He says, nothing that you're experiencing is strange. He said, but God provides for you a way out so that you won't be destroyed. And what is that? It's faith. It's faith. It's not faith in oneself. It's faith in him. It's believing him. That's what Peter said in 1 2:5. The 1 Peter says again and again, and others do too, that faith is the victory. Kaiotheistin, henike sasaton, cosmos, pissimon. Faith is the victory. And who are those that overcome the world? Those who believe that Christ came as a human, came in the flesh. So what is the thing that God says, I will give you and you will not lose? It's trust in Christ. And you're doing it. It's not only what you will do. Tonight, when you go to your bed, tell yourself, I'm a human. I'm a human. God made me. this, not just the body, not just this, that, and the other. Nothing can change me. A person's identification, a person's self, you, each one of you, there's never been one of you in all creation other than you. There's never been one. There's only you. And there never will be another you. People may look like you, they may enjoy the same things, they may work together at the same jobs and all of that. They may hate the same old stuff and all the rest of it. They may even look like you, a dead ringer, but there is no one in the world that is you. And this night, believe, you do believe, say it, speak to her, speak to him, tell them there is no one like you. There cannot be another like you. Why does he do that? Why? He loves us. That's why he does it. And you who have believed, come through youth, through seriously tough, bad times, when you thought you wouldn't survive mentally, spiritually, or anything else. Yeah. And God all the while telling you, I made you. It never entered my mind to make angels. I have made you to reign over the angels. Book of Hebrews. I didn't call angels. No one did I call, but humans. And you're one of them. Don't look in the mirror and think my worthiness is the good things I do. Do good things. Enjoy doing good things. Don't be ashamed to say that to yourself you've done good things, and you do good. You do good things. You said, but that's great, but it's not enough. Do you know what makes you wondrous with the possibility of unspeakable beauty and glory? People who hate what I hate. People who hate. He who would destroy humans. You want to read a great piece? Paradise Lost. Whoever wrote that, I can't remember his name. You know. And Paradise Lost. Satan and his crew. This is devastating material. And the written stuff I'm talking about. They have a shot at God, and God just, beats them. And now they're dying into another place, and they're making it their home. And all his followers, the vile and the disgusting and the brutal and all of that. And then their masses, they're all depressed. And he says, we can't beat him. Well, they first said it. That's why they're depressed. They said, look, there's no point in thinking we're going to get any benefit here. We can't beat him. He's just way too strong. He says, don't I know it? We can't hurt him, but we can hurt him by hurting his recent love humans. And he has this terrific speech. And one of the criticisms of, what book did I say there? Whatever book it is, yeah. One of the criticisms is God verbally and literally is a bore compared. Satan has the real speech, and when he's done, they all start beating their weapons together and chanting and screaming and all of that, and that's what they have done in reality. But he put it, read it for yourself, be thrilled with it. And who are you? Who are you people? Little tiny people. Little people. Very limited. That's who we are. Yeah? Are we? Yeah. Are we? Yeah. Why did God pick us little people? Because he said, my power is made present or full through weakness. What kind of weakness? That we're all? No, that's not what he's talking about. You follow him. You follow the Lord Jesus Christ, who wouldn't have weaponry, the kind that the world uses. Cheating, lying, all of that, bombs and guns and all of that. Doesn't use any of that. You know what he does? He tells stories. You haven't seen God. You haven't seen Jesus Christ. You don't hear him talking or anything like that. And what? Here you are, 2,000 plus years, and then go farther back beyond the Lord Jesus. Here you are, not having seen him, yet you rejoice with joy unspeakable and full of glory. And what is that? What is that? How does that show? Without faith, it's not possible to please God. Yeah. Do you believe? And of course you do. And are you staying? You're not going anywhere. Hey, a day might come. A day might come. I'm borrowing from a series. I can't remember the name of it either. But a day might come when you say, I'm tired. I've had enough. I want no more of this. I can't put up with anymore. I'm quitting. That day could come. But dear God, it's not going to come this day. Because this day and every Lord's Day, we come together and we'll say, we're not leaving. Call us little, call us weak, and we've got enough power, even in our humanness, for God is our Father. Yes. We're not leaving anywhere. And we're going to live to see the end of you. Not just you, the invisible that you are, but we know you're there. We're not fooled now. So, sometimes under trouble we do and not. But we are not leaving. And one of the reasons we're not leaving is Jesus' blood never. Yeah, there you go. We're not doing it. We're coming after you in every way that we can do it. And if we can't look impressive, we're going to get our husbands and our wives, and we're going to love them as much as, in a sense, asking for more without saying, oh, I'm weak and I'm pathetic and all of that. No, okay, acknowledging that we're not Jesus Christ, but nevertheless, we're not leaving. We're not going anywhere. Isn't that what the wee animal said when the thing said he threw him into the burning into the bush? What was that story? He said this thing was always making an idiot of him and all of that kind of thing. And then
rabbit.
What is it?
Rabbit.
Who?
Burr Rabbit.
Oh, thank you.
And the briar patch.
Hey, yeah. He said, I'm gonna burn you with oil. He said, get on with it, But whatever you do, don't throw me in the
briar patch.
He said, well, we're gonna chop you up and eat you. He said, do it. I dare you. But whatever. Don't in the and that brass God. Ooh. When he saw these thorns. They're big ones. Loaded. And he saw him into the eyes and all of that. And he thought the worst thing I can do to this one that's doing me in. That's what I'm going to do and throw him in the briar patch. He flang him, as they say, into the briar patch, dying of love. And then after a minute or two, he hears singing and Robin laughter and grinning at him. I was born and bred. I was made for the briar patch. And you were made. And you are currently doing it. Currently believing. And faith is the thing that guts him all together. How can they continue to believe on him when he won't bribe them or threaten them or anything else? He just tells them, I love you. Trust me. I made you. I'm taking you somewhere. And you're going to see yourself. You're going to see yourself somewhere. Yeah. And angels are going to say, doesn't he look the spitting image of Jesus? And you think, yeah, look at me. Yeah, who did that? And you know who did it. And here comes someone behind you and whispering, that's me. Yeah. And you turn and say, are you Jesus? He said, yeah. You're the one that I have to thank for every day when I thought I was gone. And you came and helped me And I don't remember how, and I don't know exactly how it worked or anything like that. But you did it. And I felt myself breathing again. Is that you? Are you the one that helped me? My marriage was falling apart, and you spoke to me, and this, and I was losing my job, and our home was going to go down, and you didn't fix the house, but you fixed me. You fixed my husband or my wife. You fixed my children. You took care of them and all of that. Is that you? And he says, yeah, I loved every minute of it. You have joy in that, do you? And we say, oh, joy not to be measured. He said, you don't have as much joy about receiving them than I am of giving it. My Father made you, and I'm your brother. He loves you, and I love you. Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God. Believe in me also. Yeah. I'm nearly done. Little children, don't be afraid, he said, for it was your Father's will to give you the final, the eternal kingdom. We're going to a place, we will meet beings, and we will meet men from the Old Testament and women from the Old Testament. We'll meet up with people who enabled us, under God enabled us to be who we are today, and the faith that's still in us, that we weep and we cry and wish things weren't right, but we never leave. Not this day. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen unless he comes personally and says, if you're going to be afraid of anybody, be afraid of me. And then he says, but you don't need to be afraid of me. I'm your Father. And I love you without limit. Yeah. I love you. I love you. You people. That sounds very sweetie and sugar, but it's genuine. It pleases me to know you and to see. And I am nearly finished. I am, honestly, but different words were made up. Like Sam has that way with his that I love it. And then there are those who are tender and they'll hardly speak a word. All of that is beautiful. All of that. We're all the different kinds, although we're all the same in so many ways. But I know you're my brother and you're my sister. Yeah. And I know he is our Father. And Jesus Christ in the book of Matthew, no, Romans 8, Jesus Christ in Romans 8 is God's heir, his heir of all the glory that is ahead. Romans 8 says that. And we, the book says, we are joint heirs with him. So we meet him and we say, so you've heard it. All this wonder, the mystery of it, the things that we have joy in trying to figure out and places to go and all of that. And you're the heir of all of this. And he says, yeah, that's me. That's me. You know who else is the heir of it all? You. you fellow heirs.
Hmm.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
God.
you.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody want to see the piece he's talking about? Or would you like me to send it to you?
Calls from 115205039.
Yeah, send it.
Send it, okay.
Yes.
Calls
I don't want to lose this moment.
from 115205039.
Yeah, yeah, Alan, I could see it all over your face, brother. Yeah,
Made me cry.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
But they're not tears of, they're tears of
Happy-
joy.
Happy tears.
Happy tears, happy trails.
It's amazing,
Grateful
Alan.
tears.
It's amazing. You're here, your history, you're here, and God called you back to himself. Isn't that something else? I mean, you're a
Yeah.
testimony to the faithfulness of God and all the stuff you've shared about your challenges and your sin and everything that you've.
Yeah, but it's not about me.
No,
It's the
No.
it's not the sickness, it's the medicine that cured it.
yeah. Right, Marge?
Amen.
I'd love to meet Marge someday. I'd love to meet you, Marge.
Me
I-
too.
I would
We
love to
will.
meet you.
We will. That'd be great. Oh, yeah, we will someday, I guess, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm very
Yeah.
fond of you.
I just want to say thank you, Jim. What a
Mm.
lesson.
Yeah. We'll meet
don't-
Ethel. We never got to meet Ethel, some of us.
Yeah.
I'm dying to meet Ethel.
And
Gotta
yet
meet her.
we've met Ethel through Jim.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, be sure to put it out. I want to listen to it again.
Yes.
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 I got several. I want to send that to.
It's like-
I'm so thankful for your energy, Jim. You found the energy to come. I hope you finish that book. I really do. I hope that book is nearly done. You've been talking a lot about it, and yeah, we're hoping you're gonna get it done. Yeah.
What's that one called, Kevin?
It's not,
A
it
new-
is, it's not,
A new.
What is it, Mariana?
well, he's working on it. There, it's not finished.
Doesn't have
there's
it.
no-
The Tale of Two Atoms. I believe
Oh.
it's called The Tale of Two Atoms.
Okay.
Jim doesn't advertise, so I'll advertise. The Tale of Two Atoms. Okay?
Mhm.
So that's what we're hoping.
Yeah.
I'd like to finish. I would like to be able to finish it. It's where God started it in the book of Genesis, and it's where God ended it in the book of Revelation. The whole story is what carried in to what? To what?
Two atoms.
Two items. Thank you.
We can be of any help. Well, we'll pray, but
We're
any-
praying.
yeah,
Well, I've got
I want to see you finish that book. Yeah.
that Mariana Long is a great
Uh-huh.
helper. She's packing away. She is.
Yes.
And she keeps showing me how to. Not recently, but we went back, helping to get machine finish it up twice. I've forgotten everything, so she gets the stuff and works.
Make another trip, Marianne, soon. You'll be able to get out there and
And there are others, I won't name others, are great help to me. If I start that, and then I'll have to remember everybody's name. I don't remember.
yeah, Wilson was out there.
Oh,
Right, Billy?
yeah.
Couple days, Wilson. Finish that book, Jim.
Yeah.
Anything, Billy?
Was that him?
Yeah, Billy's on.
He's using back scratcher to
wasn't-
scratch his arm.
Hey, Jim, I'm just glad. I'm glad you're not sick. I'm sick as a dog over here. I was scared I gave you something when I was over. I'm glad to see you
Oh,
well.
is that right?
Yeah,
Well,
I'll live.
I think I died a couple of nights ago and my daughter had to work on me in the back. You were sick. You dared come to our house. I need to tell you that the family lost Abe,
Yes.
Oh, the dog.
the most loved dog in the world and the most lovely dog in the world. And we buried her last night, Brad. And I need to tell you this before I let you alone. And this is not a joke. This is not a joke. I'm writing a series of pieces, and Linda and I are going to put one up shortly on whatever it is that she puts things up on. That animals that are friends of humankind, they go to heaven. Yeah, I know people joke.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm talking biblically.
I hope so.
Biblically. Do you know that? Do you know that the first sacrifice for the remission of sins that God chose, they were animals. Israel, when they went and did wrong, not the major, the gods and all of that, there was no sacrifice for them. But they stole and they did all of that. But they could find forgiveness. And you read this in the book of Leviticus, all over the place. And God in Leviticus 17:11 gave the certain animals for the sacrifice. And there is forgiveness there. It's explicitly spoken, right? That all sounds like idiocy. There's nothing idiotic about it. God has given more laws about the animals that are, God made them. They all ate the same food until we screwed the world up, and then things went wine. God has laws about you can't do that to the animal and all of that. And you must feed the animal, you must give the animal rest and all of that kind of stuff. You can't take that little bird away from his mother except under these set of circumstances. And he said, no, Jesus said, no little bird falls to the ground without God being aware of it. They are innocent. They have never sinned. They're like babies, newborn babies. There's no sin in them. They haven't turned their lives over to God, but
Yes.
but the big argument is they don't have a soul. The Old Testament says they have soul. But do you know what a soul is anyway? Do you know what the spirit is? Is it a ghost in the machine? Your soul, what is it? Is it a ghost in there? Souls and spirits are not things.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's the dog. Oh, yeah.
That's Abby.
Yeah, Abby, yeah.
Somebody sent something.
Yeah, Marianne's holding up a picture of Abby. You and Abby. Is that you, Jim?
Is that right?
I think that's right, Marianne. That's Abby right there.
Every time we look, but see, they've also got a theological message. When we did what we did and the world split, we ended up with two kinds of humans. You know, that's too simple, but nevertheless, two kinds of humans: predators and those who are friends to one another. Look at the animal world, and you have precisely the same thing. They carry a message. God uses these things to help people and to bless people. He uses them. Anyway, I'll be offering texts that are there. I don't have a verse. I don't need a single verse, but explicitly says that they will make it to heaven. But I know the character of God from the Bible and how he says the seventh day deal, when you keep the seventh, the animal, I'm doing it for the animal as well. And when the animal is working for you, you will not shut up his mouth, you will feed him. And on and on and on, and multiplying the text with what God says about them and does through them. And then I look at them in the world today and how they're abused and all the rest of it, and how they're now using these friendly things to heal children, to bust up.
Oh, yeah, right.
And all of that. God is at work. Anywhere you see goodness, anywhere you see goodness, a child taken care of, a home blessed, husbands and wives, no matter where you see good working man standing up and bravery, speaking against evil, this, that, and the other. I don't care where you see it or in whom you see it. You're seeing the reign of God expressed, for he is at work in the world non-stop. Jesus said, my Father works up until this moment. He didn't stop on that day, in the seventh day. He's still working, and that's why I work. Yeah. Anyway, you'll not like it, or you'll like it, but that's okay. We're brothers and sisters.
Are you going to put some of Cassie's wisdom in there?
What?
Are you
Cassie?
some of the wisdom of Cassie?
The wisdom of Cassie? Oh yeah, well, Abby and Cassie, I think, are having a good chat.
Yeah.
Cassie can teach her a lot of language.
Oh yeah.
That girl not only knew dog eats,
Hebrews and Greek. Yeah.
I walked in on her one day and she was reading a book.
Yeah.
Reading a book. And I said, so what are you doing? And she was speaking gently, of course, but she said, what does it look like? I said, you're reading one of mine? She said, never. You know, she pushed it in and got the book back. That girl.
Carl, are you leaving?
I got to go. I've got to get my devotion out.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Love you,
Jim,
brother.
you
Thanks
did
a
an
lot.
excellent job. Excellent job, my brother.
No, Cassie told a joke. Cassie went into a bank and she said, hand the money over. Jim, do you remember that one? Hand the money over here. About Cassie going into a bank.
At this minute,
You know, they're taking your picture.
Oh yeah.
No,
Oh,
I'll get it. I'll send that clip. I'll send it out to everybody.
But she was reading. She was reading a book, a serious book. I forget the guy's name, but he was one of those big hitters on the philosophy and all the rest of it. And I said, "What are you reading?" She says, "Well, I'm reading this guy." And she named him, and I kind of couldn't. His big name, and I couldn't even pronounce it then. But she said, he's working on, and he's trying to explain so and so's deal. I said, well, how's he doing? She said, well, he just hasn't got it right, but I'm tolerating him. You know, this is the kind of girl she. Yeah. Yeah. And I said, I'm going to tell people that you can talk. I said, talk for Linda. She wouldn't even talk for Linda. I said, talk to Linda. She said, no. I said, why not? Linda wouldn't say anything. She said, if the government got to know I could speak, you know what would happen? They would use me as a, said, I don't want anybody to know. And I said, Linda wouldn't tell. He says, you're kidding. With all those grandkids there and all the kids that she loves and all of the rest of it, you think she's going to hold that back? That girl will tell. Get away. And it'll get out. And I'll never have peace again. Oh, she's shrewd. She was definitely shrewd. And I said, that book there, that belonged to me, but not my book. That was way up in the top shelf. How did you get up there? She said, that's for me to know, for you to get.
Oh,
Allie, I heard that dog say something.
He's
She
growling.
said something. I heard, yeah.
He's growling at that noise going on that phone. Oh.
I'm away.
Thank you,
All
Jim.
All right, love you all. Have a
Thank
great
you.
week.
Thank you.
Yes,
Good night.
great,
Thank
great.
Jim.
Yes,
Fantastic.
thank you very much.
Tell yourself tonight, tell your
night.
husband and your wife, you're human.
We love you,
Good
brother.
night.
Love you.
Good night, Jim,
Night all.
good night. All right,
and everyone.
same for me.
I love
Thank
you all.
Marge. Thank you so much,
Good
Bye,
Marge.
everyone.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Love you.